Okay, cool. That's live. It's good to go. Man, it has been a hell of a ride, a hell of a journey. Give me 1 second here. Gotta make sure that I'm actually up and going. It's been over a month since I've sat at this chair. Been in my office. Um, it's been one long journey. Yeah, it's up and going. So, during, I guess at this moment right now, I do want to kind of give my stories. I know a lot of people have been super supportive since I've come out and let people know that I did contract COVID-19 or coronavirus or whatever you guys are calling it right now. Everyone's been super supportive on Twitter. In my personal life, I didn't tell a lot of people besides my family and a few close friends. But I had no problem sharing it out with Twitter and you guys, letting you guys know that I did contract it. And I know a lot of people have been asking me questions from the time I was at home isolation, when I was in the hospital. A lot of people have been asking questions, and I did answer some. But I figured, once I was cleared, which today was the day I was cleared, when I got home to come out of isolation, that I would give my story and answer any question. I knew I would go live. If a lot of people didn't come in, that was fine. Anyone who watched this video after the fact, I will answer as many questions as I possibly can. If you drop the questions in the comment section down below, anything you want to know. I know a lot of people have been fearful because of what they're seeing in the media or what they're seeing from Facebook or social media. There are a lot of things out there that are true. Some things aren't true. And a lot of people haven't come in contact with someone they may have known or maybe someone they follow on social media who has actually come in contact with COVID-19 and actually had complications from it. Not speaking on how a lot of these celebrities have no symptoms and are perfectly fine and getting tested and making videos saying, hey, I have COVID-19. But from someone who actually been through the complications of it. So, like I said, I'm going to just start from the very beginning of my story. I'm going to go from beginning to end. At any point you guys have any questions, please drop them, and I will answer anything. Literally ask me anything about my experience with COVID-19, I will answer it. So, it all started on a Friday. I had this really bad headache, and I have never had like a migraine, anything like that before. Never had a migraine, and I was like, yo, I may be developing migraines. This is terrible. Like, this hurts. I don't know what's going on. I was taking Tylenol. 6-9. I did survive Big Rona. I was popping Tylenol, Advil, Aleve. I could not shake this headache, and I was like, this is ridiculous. I was in the middle of a meeting at work, and I was like, yo, I can't sit here. Like, I need to go home. Saturday and Sunday went by, headache went down. I was feeling a lot better. And so Monday came around, I went back to work, and it was about 3:30 to 3:45. I was like, all right, I'm going to head home. I'm gonna start cooking. I'm ready to go home and get something to eat. I hadn't had lunch that day because we're just so busy, all the stuff going on. So as I walked out the building, I had a single cough. Single cough. And I was like, oh, I'm looking around, make sure I'm looking. People going to think I got the Rona. Me joking around, people going to think I got coronavirus because I walked out and I had a cough. So I get in my car, I head home. And by the time I walk in the door, like the cough came back. I'm coughing. That's what's going on. My son was here. My wife hadn't come home yet. And I'm just coughing. I'm like, what the heck is going on? At that point, I haven't had any other symptoms, at least not that I have checked. So I'm coughing. My wife comes. I call my sisters, and I'm joking around with them. Oh, man, look, I'm coughing. I probably got corona. As a joke, like everyone else, I didn't take it serious, but I did make a lot of jokes out of it. Like, ha, 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 I got the Rona, yada, yada, yada. Kid, Sam, what's up, family? So my wife comes home and she's like, why are you coughing so much? I'm like, I don't know. Maybe it's bronchitis. Maybe I don't know what's going on, but I'm coughing like crazy. And she was like, well, you need to go ahead and check your temp. So I checked my temp and it's like 99.7. Low grade fever. Nothing like to be alarmed about. Not a big deal. And so my wife's like, you got a cough. You got a fever. Maybe you should, until we find out if you're okay, what's going on, maybe you should isolate yourself. So we had a plan already intact in case one of us got isolation. We have a room in the house that person would go in that room and be in isolation until we figure out what's going on. So I went into that room. I called. I did the teledoc, and I called my healthcare provider, not my actual MD's teledoc. And the lady was like, "I'm gonna prescribe you this medication and go in isolation. Then go get tested when you get a chance." So she prescribed the medication. My wife went to go pick it up. I'm in isolation. Now, I didn't take the medication that night. I did not take it. So the next morning, first thing I did was call my PCP. I said, "Hey, this is what's going on. I had this cough. I have a fever." At that point, it got to about 100. Still not really freaking out, but my fever was at about 100. And I was like, "Hey, I called the teledoc. They prescribed me this medication. This is what it is." And my MD said, "Throw that shit in the trash. Do not take that medication, because if you do have COVID, it's going to make it worse." And I wish I had the medication, because I literally threw it in the trash when he told me to. Like, I boop in the trash. And he said, "If you don't have it, this medication will make you more susceptible to getting COVID. Come into my office. Not come into my office tomorrow. Come to my office tomorrow. We'll test you." So he asked me, "How's your breathing?" I said, "My breathing is fine. It's not, great, but I mean, I can breathe. I got this cough, and this cough is making things a little bit difficult, but I'm okay. No big deal." So get to my doctor's office. I can't go in because at this point, they're treating everyone as if you have it. I'll pull up. I roll my window down. They stick the swab down my throat to check for strep. I almost threw up on the lady, and then they checked for the flu. And then they check for COVID. Now, mind you, for a lot of people who do not know, the flu test is not too much different from the COVID test. Now, I've seen some flu tests that go not too far up your nose, to kind of swab the inside, try to get some mucus, especially on children that don't go far. But mind you, that stick of people, that picture of people with the thing going, it goes there. Now, I saw a video of a lady where it stayed there, monitoring it. They went up there, twisted it around, pulled it out. It burned like a son of a gun, but I made it through it. Gave me a mask. Doc said, my MD says to go home, go into stay in isolation. We'll call you the results. We're getting so many tests right now that it might take more than 2 or 3 days. It might take 7 to 10 days. Cool. I get home. I'm steadily coughing. He did prescribe me an antibiotic for a bacterial infection in the lungs for pneumonia, because before I got there, I was starting to get a little complication with tightness in my chest. I was beginning to not be able to take deep breaths. If it wasn't major, it was like it's very light, nothing that you would really be bothered about. But he gave me back antibiotic for a bacterial infection, and also he refilled my inhaler because I do have an underlying condition besides being a big dude. And people go, "Oh, because you're a big dude." I do have asthma, so he refilled my prescription for asthma. So I get that. I go home. I think at that point I had went on Twitter and I was like, "All right, y'all, Big Rona got me. What should I watch?" If you go back on my Twitter, if you follow me on Twitter, you guys will see the day I was like, "Hey, what do you guys suggest I watch on Netflix?" So that night, as I'm isolated, gotta stop making jokes. Yeah, I would no longer make a joke about coronavirus after I shouldn't have in the beginning. That's probably why I ended up getting it. But that night, as I'm getting up, because we have multiple restrooms in my home, we designated a restroom for me. And just getting up and going to the restroom, it felt like I had run a mile. And I was like, this isn't normal. What the heck is going on? Just getting up, going to the restroom, I'm huffing, I'm puffing, I'm huffing. I use the restroom and I'm like, yo, I am exhausted. I am super tired. And I go back to my isolation and I lay back down and I'm trying to catch my breath as if I had just run a few miles. I'm trying to catch my breath and I finally catch my breath and I'm fine. I can breathe. I'm back on my phone. Back on Twitter, gaming with my Switch, xCloud, and I'm fine just laying there. As long as I don't move, I'm fine. Was you lightheaded every time you got up? 9 times out of 10, I was lightheaded. Very fatigued. Extremely fatigued when I got up. So a few more days go by and things begin to get progressively worse. I'm not able to sleep at this point. I'm continually to cough. continually to have random moments where even if I do not move, I'm not able to breathe. It felt like the walls are closing in, and things just got like extremely bad. My fever had went up to about 101 at this point. I'm taking Tylenol, and I'm trying not to go to the hospital because number one, I hadn't got my test results back, and I was always afraid that if I didn't have it going to the hospital, I would get it. So I didn't want to go to the hospital at this point. And then I also felt like at this point, even though I'm struggling to breathe, I'm in a better position than I know a lot of people are. And I didn't want to take up space in the hospital. So that Sunday came around, and I am in bed. And my wife, shout out to my wife, who is the MVP of my life, for number one, holding things down while I was down, just being there for me. She's bringing me food to the door. I'm opening the door and I'm getting food. She's taking care of me. She's putting on. And I think that's my wife coming in the house right now. It's open, babe. Hey, love, I'm live right now. And so give me just a few moments, okay? Okay. So like I was saying, she was bringing me food to the door. Like super shout out to my wife. Like I couldn't ask for a better person to take care of me. So that Sunday evening, it just gotten so bad. I was laying there in my isolation room. She comes to open the door and she sees me laboring. I can't, there's nothing I can do, even laying still. I can't catch my breath. I can't stop coughing. I'm super hot. I'm sweaty. At this point, it's time to go to the hospital. So my wife, she gloved up, she masked up, same thing with the kids. And she started packing a few things that I might have needed. Shout out to my wife. She packed up, portable charger, my phone, controller. She packed up everything that I needed, and we got inside of her truck and we rolled the windows down because I didn't want to. And even though I did have a mask on, I didn't want to infect her or my children because we couldn't leave my kids here. No one was really available to watch my children as we went to the hospital. So we get to the hospital. We go to the emergency area. My wife gets out. She gets me out. She goes and says, "Hey, my husband's in a wheelchair. He's having trouble breathing." They come out with the wheelchair. I get in, and my wife could only go as far as the sliding doors. No one else was allowed in the hospital. And so my wife's trying to explain to the nurse, and shout out to my wife for not going bonkers on this lady, right? She did her best to stay content. The nurse gets the scanner, scans my forehead, and was like, "Oh, his temp is on 98.6. My wife was like, "No, we just checked it. It was 101. It's not 98. So the lady said, "All right, well, we're going to come in, bring them in and see what happens." So they're trying to get information, ID, and all this stuff, and I can't even speak. I'm coughing, and I'm out of breath, and it was like, "You know what, sir, we're going to go ahead and try to get this from you later. We're going to get you back here." So when they roll me back, they check my weight, and then they check with an actual thermometer to check my temp. At that point, my temp was 103.2. I am burning up inside. I am absolutely burning up. I can't breathe. I'm coughing like crazy. I'm super lightheaded. I had a temp of 103.2. At this point, so my wife couldn't come in. I couldn't hug her goodbye. I couldn't kiss her goodbye. I couldn't give a handshake goodbye. At this point, I'm like, I'm dead. Like, I'm never coming out of here again. Somebody said, was it out of breath, like the asthma or something? It was something different. My and I'm gonna get to this. I'm gonna get to that here in a little bit. But it wasn't like I've had dealt with asthma almost my entire life. It wasn't like asthma. So they checked my temp. They get me back there to the emergency room, and they're coming back there. And at this point, even though over the last 2 weeks I had been drinking so much water, it didn't make a difference. No matter how much water you drink, if you got this, it's not gonna make a difference. You're constantly gonna be dry mouth, and my veins were extremely small. And I have good veins. I'm a platelet donor. I donate platelets to try to give as much blood as I can. I work for a blood bank, so I know how important it is to donate blood, platelets, and plasma. So I have really good veins. I donate plasma as much as I can. Platelets as much as I can. I'm sorry. And so the two ladies come in there, sit there, they say, "Hey," and I got some funny to get to here in a second. They come in, and they're trying to get an IV started because they need to draw blood, check for medication, and they need to get an IV started on me. So they do another strep test. I'm gonna stood up on the lady, flu, They didn't do COVID because I told them, hey, I had just taken the COVID test. I haven't gotten results back yet, so they didn't do COVID again at that point. So they're trying to stick me. I'm burning up. They hadn't given me any type of medication yet. They're just trying to draw IV. My temp is 103.2. I'm about to pass out. They're sticking me, and you guys can't really see it, but my arms were bruised to top to bottom from them trying to stick me, and they can't get anything. And I'm saying, hey, can I get some water because I'm really hot? I can barely see you guys. My vision is fading. I'm getting tunnel vision. I'm about to pass out. Y'all are sticking me to no end. Can't get blood. I need water. They're like, hey, we can't leave because we leave and come back, it exposes us more. We don't have any cups in here. Mind, there's a little sink in there. And they had, I said, lady, I need water. So I'm about to get up and put my head under the sink. I need water. Y'all gonna have to stop. The only thing they had to give me, you know the little cups that they give you if you go in for a urine sample? And now I am quite sure that they don't like clean those. They like use them and throw them away. But part of me was like, damn, I wonder if they like clean these and put it back in there. But they had the little urine cups. And I was like, fill this thing up with water. While one of the ladies was sticking me, I had a urine cup that I had the lady running back and forth to the sink with, and I'm drinking water. I'm putting water on myself out of this pee cup. In the back of my mind, I was like, I'm probably drinking the remnants of someone else's piss, but I don't care because I'm hot and I'm burning up and I need water. So I'm drinking, and the cup is only this big. So this one lady steady sticking me, and the other lady's running back and forth to the sink in the room, giving me water in this pee cup. And I didn't have a choice. I did not have a choice because I needed water. I didn't know what else to do. So they finally was able to get an IV started. She's like, we need to get 2. I said, no, ma'am. You're not getting 2. Y'all barely got this 1. It hurt like hell. Please draw your blood, draw your test, and hook up the IV. You're not sticking me again. I'm not getting 2 IVs. Please, I'm about to die in here. So I'm steady getting water, and they draw all the tests, and they finally get the IV started, and I'm feeling much better. I think the fact of me almost passing out and being so hot, I don't think I was even coughing at this point because I was so focused on not passing out and worrying about whose piss am I possibly drinking. And like I said, I'm sure that those are new cups, but you never know. So they come in and do a chest x-ray to see what's going on with my lungs. After sitting there for a while, hooked up to an IV, the doctor finally comes in and she said, hey, we did a bunch of tests on you and your numbers are borderline, which kind of threw me back. I really understand that by the time I went really feel well, your numbers are borderline. And then she goes, if you want, you can go home. And in the back of my mind, I'm like, lady, like, really? Like, I can just get up and go home if I want to? And I said, ma'am, I've been home. I have small children at home. I really feel like that's not the place for me right now. She's like, okay, well, we'll go ahead and admit you. And I'm like, y'all don't see how high my temp is, how bad my cough is, how bad I'm doing right now. You just want to just send me home. But they did admit me. So I get it. They take me up to the room and they take me to the 3rd floor, which one thing that does not make sense is the 3rd floor is mostly full of older people. They made the 3rd floor the the COVID patient floor along with the elderly floor. Now, how much sense does that make? Right? So we get up there and as I'm in my bed, I'm going by and I'm seeing people going in and out of the rooms. I'm seeing people who are obviously corona patients and they're masked up. And right before I get to my room, I see it was 3:23. As a lady going in and shutting the door, I can see an older gentleman there with a mask on. The way he was coughing, the way he was laboring, I knew he had COVID-19. And I'm going to get back to that because that was really important to something that I figured out later. So I get in my room, and at this point, it's like 7, 8 o'clock at night. I'm finally able to call my wife and tell her that, hey, I've admitted into the room. I'm doing great. Stay strong. I love you. That day before I went to the hospital, I sat down with my wife, and I talked to her about my life insurance policy. I made sure she had She knew where to go to pay the mortgage, because I take care of a lot of that stuff, so my wife doesn't have to worry about it. I want her to live her best life, so I make sure, I take care of the mortgage, lights, water, car insurance, everything. So I made sure she had all the passwords to my emails, all the everything she needed to pay everything, to go if I pass, get the life insurance, to pay off the house and go buy a new vehicle and just live the best possible life she can live. So I did call her when I got to the hospital. I said, hey, I'm here. I'm not feeling well. But I do feel a slight bit better, that they finally got these fluids in me, because I wasn't being able to hold on to fluids. 6ix9ine, where did I get it from? I'm not sure. I do have a few guesses, and I'm going to get to those here in a few moments. But and thank you guys for listening to my story, by the way. So I am continuing to not being able to breathe. I didn't sleep well that night. Number one, I'm in the hospital bed. Number two, I miss my wife. Number two, I miss my children. Number three, I think I'm going to die. And that's the honest to God truth. I at this point, I think I'm going to die. You're alone, and there is no family to come sit in one of the chairs next to you. Only thing you can do is video chat. No one can come and visit. The nurses come in, and no disrespect to them, but they come in and they really don't want much contact with you, because and I understand that they don't want to get sick. They come in, do their job, and get out. So you're alone. You're really alone. So the next day, or starting that night, the doctor came in and said, hey, we're going to start you on this medication. And she specifically said it's going to be a cocktail of medication, which in my mind, they were just throwing stuff against the wall, because as we know, there's no cure for COVID-19. So not only am I getting the IV, they also have 2 antibiotics flowing through my IV. I was getting codeine cough syrup to help with the cough. I was getting a steroid also coming in as it going to my IV, another steroid inside of a pill. It was just, I was probably taking 11 to 12 different medications at a time. And so that's happening. They're saying, hey, here's the thing for you can pee. Don't get up to go pee. Pee in this cup will come out clean. And I was like, hell no. I refuse to pee or poop while I'm sitting in this bed. I will unplug this machine and walk to the restroom and do what I have to do. Even though it was extremely difficult, I was not going to sit there and piss and poop in that bed. I'm sorry. My pride wouldn't allow me to do that. So the next day, I finally get the results back from my PCP. They finally got the results back, and it was, yes, you are positive for COVID-19. And they had also called my wife. She was at work, and they called her, but she couldn't get the message. But she texted me and said, "Hey, I got the call. What the results are?" And I had to tell her, "Hey, I am positive for COVID-19." I did call some of my coworkers who I work closely with and let them know, "Hey, this is what's going on. I know you guys haven't seen me for like 3 weeks. This is what's going on. I am positive for COVID-19. If you guys may be fine, if you want to go get tested. If you're not sure something, they might not even test you, but I feel like I've let you guys know because we're in each other's offices all the time, cubicles all the time. So I want to let those 7 people know." So once I finally got the confirmation of, yes, you have COVID-19, they came, I have another doctor come in, and she was like, "Okay, here is your x-ray from the original x-ray that I had took, and my lungs, I tell you guys, they were so small. They were not expanding, and that's one of the reasons why I couldn't breathe, because of the COVID, like it attacks your lungs. And one thing I figured out, and it took me a couple of days to really do better at, is the coronavirus wants you to lay back and accept death. And for the most part, that's what I did. I laid there in bed. I didn't move much. Number one, because it was difficult to move around, being lightheaded and out of breath. But the coronavirus wants you to lay down and die. It really did. Once I got the confirmation, I started to look up a lot of different things on the internet. The doctors coming in, they're telling me a bunch of mumbo jumbo I don't understand. I said, "We're gonna start you on some new medication. We're gonna start the second half of your coronavirus treatment." I'm already taking 12 pills along with antibiotics coming through my IV, along with steroid shots. So they started me on the hydroxyquil. I can't pronounce it, but if you guys don't know what that is, it's the anti-malaria medication that has been thrust into the forefront of the COVID-19 cure-all. Even though I can't tell people that that's what saved me, I can't give a definitive answer because I wasn't taking it the entire time that I was sick. I only took it for 4 days, but they did start me on the anti-malaria medication along with a different antibiotic. They came in and gave me another chest x-ray. And then before I left the hospital, the doctor came in and put my chest x-ray side by side. And just by comparison, if my original lungs were this big, the second one, it was this big. So my lungs were getting better. And I had to start doing these exercises where I had to, it was this little plastic thing they gave me with a tube in. You guys might have seen it before, and they want you to try to breathe in and hit a certain number. But the number I'm supposed to be hitting was 3,000. When I first came in the hospital, I could only do 500. And at this point, on the second half of my treatment, I began to hit maybe 1,500. No, 1,000. And when I left the hospital, I was hitting about 1,500. So even today, as of today, leaving, I can hit 3,000 today. That's how bad my lungs were. So they started me on the new medication. And that night, my temp spiked. Not up to 103, but it spiked up to 102.7. And mind you, they can only give you so much medication. So they had to give me Tylenol throughout the day. And I was like, hey, you've maxed out on Tylenol. We can't, and it's the highest milligram. We can't give you no more. And I'm in the hospital room. I'm on this new medication. I am burning up. So what they had to do was they had to get ice packs and come in with ice packs and back on my neck, on my chest, on my legs, on my feet. And they had to put ice packs over my body because they couldn't give me no more medication. And I'm burning up. I'm at 102.7. I am sweating. Mind you, the fluids are going in. I'm drinking lots of water. And I slept like that with packs of ice on my body that night. And now looking back on it, that was the peak. It's like my body was going through the stuff with COVID, and then it gave me one more jolt of lightning with the 102.7 temp, and then I haven't had a fever since then. Since that day. Now, you could say it's the anti-malaria medication because for some reason, as my temp was going down, it dropped to like 96.2. Mind you, when you get to 95, you're about to hit hypothermia. But from the 102.7 that night, my temp began to drop consistently through the next day, and then the next day after, I didn't have a fever whatsoever, and I haven't had one since then. So my fever was gone. I'm beginning to breathe better. Still have a little bit of cough, but I'm beginning to not only have this, but the dry cough is starting to go away. I'm starting to bring up phlegm now. So finally, things are starting to look up for me. So they come in and say, hey, we're going to do another COVID test on you, and you'll get the results in 10 days, whatever the case may be. So I'm feeling better. I'm speaking better. I think I ended up calling Hugger on Discord and talking to her about certain stuff. So I am starting to feel better. Mind you, I can't conclusively say it was the anti-malaria drug. I cannot say that. But what I can say is I've been feeling better since around the time I started taking it. And this isn't an endorsement. This isn't, hey, run out and try to go get this medication. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is around that time, whether that's the time my body finally hit Big Rona in her mouth, or if it was the medication, I cannot say because I'd already been sick, mind you, for 3 weeks already. So if you have a mild or moderate case of coronavirus, and they never put me on oxygen. My oxygen levels did begin to drop. My oxygen saturation started to get in the 80s, was as low as it gotten, but it wasn't to where they needed to put me on oxygen. I was borderline, but never needed it. So I'm breathing better. The cough is going away. My temp is down, and at this point, I'm ready to go home. I'm ready to see my wife and kids. Doctor comes in and say, hey, our goal is today is to see how you do throughout the day, and then we're going to try to get you home. Now, what I was talking about when I came in that night before, and I meant to talk about this, and I kind of went past the night before, as they're putting ice packs on me, they left the door open. And I remember in room 323, and when I came in, it was an older gentleman with a mask on. I was like, this guy has it. There's no way he doesn't. I'm hearing him cough. I'm turning my TV down, and I'm hearing, his machines constantly going off. His machines are going off. It's crazy that night, and I can hear the rustling going back and forth. And my nurse is trying to take care of me, and they pull my nurse out, and she left the door open. And I know for a fact that gentleman died that night. You can hear it. You can hear the little conversations outside the door. They finally came and closed my door. The day I left the hospital, his room was, I go back out there where I came in, the door was open and it was empty. He didn't magically get better after all the alarms and things I was hearing. He died that night before, and that just sort of makes me feel like I don't know what I did to deserve to live. I don't know why I was spared. I don't know. I'm not a super religious person. Sometimes I question if God left us, just because as human beings we're just terrible people. I'm not the best person in the world. I've made countless amount of mistakes. I'm not the best person. I'm not as thankful for the things that I have that I should. There are people who have lost their lives that can make a bigger impact than me. But my life was spared, and I was able to come home, which is all I really wanted, was to continue to be with my wife, to watch my children grow up. I have a 11-year-old and I have a 4-year-old, and my family means everything to me. So I'm not sure why I was given the opportunity to win. I'm not sure why I was given the opportunity to continue to live, but the gentleman next to me didn't. I didn't know his name. I knew nothing about him. I just have a picture in my head that I can't shake, because as I'm going by, I've seen his face. And I don't know why he had to go, and I got to stay. I don't know why. But I did. I'm here. I'm breathing. I was sent home that night. And I was told I had to stay into isolation for another week. And that week was today. I was able to come out of isolation today. And I want to come out and just kind of give my story. And I want to answer any questions you guys may have. So yes, I am clear now. I have defeated it. I can have human contact. I go back to work here on Monday. I'm no longer in isolation. I can hug and kiss my wife and my kids, And just even though we're still everyone's quarantined in the house, I can actually sit on the couch and watch a movie with my family and with my kids, and just laugh and be thankful that I'm still here. So I am here. I'm alive. I'm healthy. I defeated COVID-19. I am super blessed. I'm super thankful. Now that's out of the way, that is my story, and I probably got some holes in there because it's a lot to tell. Any questions? I'm gonna go back through here through the chat. If you want to have any questions, please let me know. If you guys have anything, shout out to everyone who's watching and commented, and thank you for all the well wishes. I am not even. I'm a minuscule person in the gaming community. I'm a dot in the grand scheme of the planet, but the reception and the love and the tweets and everything you guys sent out to me, you guys have no idea how much that meant to me. That, and along with my wife and my kids, helped me fight. It really did. Like I was saying earlier, I did a bunch of research, and the COVID wants you to accept death, and I had done so. Then I started to get up, and I even though I was out of breath, I walked around my hospital bed, just walking in a circle, opened up the bathroom door, and I was walking in the bathroom, walking the side, and I just kept walking, and it sucked. And the lung exercises, they sucked, and I did not want to do it, but you have to, right? If you don't get up and move around and do the things that suck, you will not get better. If I pray that no one else gets it, right? Especially anyone you guys are watching. I pray that none of you guys ever get it. If you do get it, here is my advice to you. This isn't a surefire scientific proof, but here's my advice to you. Do what's uncomfortable if you get sick. You want to lay down, get up. You're tired of drinking water, tired of drinking fluids, drink more. You don't feel like walking around, you don't want to stand up, you don't want to change positions, walk around, stand up, change positions. Do everything in your isolation that is uncomfortable. You do everything that you do not want to do, you do it. You get on social media, you get on your Switch, you keep yourself active, you move around, you keep talking, keep trying to take in deep breaths. Even if you don't have the machine to focus on your lungs, take deep breaths. It sucks. You're going to breathe in and you're going to cough. You're going to be out of breath. You're going to be out of breath. The moment you feel like you can do it again, you breathe back in and you open those lungs up and you continue to do the things that are uncomfortable, because that is the way to win. That is it. Do everything that's uncomfortable and you will have a better chance. Don't lay back and accept it, because that's what this disease wants. It wants you to lay back, lay down, get into a false sense of hope, get into a false sense, okay, and naturally, and think about it, anytime that you're sick, what do? You go and you lay down and you take a nap. Even as a kid, go in there and lay down. Here, take some tussin and go lay down. That's what we do as human beings. We're naturally, I don't feel well. Even if you don't lay down on your bed, you'll get a blanket and you might lay down on your couch. As humans, we naturally go into we recede. We pull back. I'm going to lay down, let it wear out. You can't do it with this. That's what I did, and all I did was get worse. I was taking vitamins, all that stuff. It wasn't working. I didn't begin to feel better until around the time I began to get up, really do the lung exercises. When I first told me to do it, I wasn't doing those exercises, moving around. So between that and the medication, I was able to beat it. So Sleepy asked me, didn't you throw up? I did not throw up. Somebody asked, are you recording this? Yes, I am actually live streaming right now. I didn't throw up almost a few times, especially with the strep test, but I did not throw up. Kid, I ran a mile with the flu before. You're a better man than me. I could barely run a mile without the flu or asthma. But the Jesus Christ, the pneumonia. They're going to give you if you get it, they're going to give you antibiotics for pneumonia, and it won't do anything. It will not do anything because it's a viral disease. It's a virus. So they're going to pump you antibiotics. They won't do anything. Did not get diarrhea. A lot of those weird things that people got, I didn't get it. How can you tell if you have the regular flu or COVID-19? That is a difficult question because a lot of it does feel like you just have the flu. It really does. It feels like you can just take some Theraflu, lay down, and you'll feel better. Because I've only had the flu once in my life, right? I've had COVID once. I've had flu once. Honestly, the main difference is when I had the flu, I didn't get pneumonia, so I didn't have the problem breathing. I can't get the flu. When I had the flu before, I could get up and function just perfectly fine. I might have been tired and exhausted, but I didn't feel like taking a single step would put me out of breath. And that's what happened. A single step, getting out of bed, I'm out of breath. So that's the main key. I didn't have those issues with the flu. I did with COVID-19, and that was the main difference. Honestly, you do not want to get pneumonia with this because it's a viral pneumonia, and the virus is the COVID-19, and there's nothing really for them to do but make you comfortable and you allow your body to fight, because that's the only cure right now, right? Yes, they gave me the anti-malaria medication, but your only real cure is what your body's willing to do. That is it. In my opinion, breathing is the biggest clue. I don't think a lot of people get pneumonia with the flu. I know a lot. I've only had the flu once, maybe twice in my life. My children have had it. My wife has had it, and I don't see people really get pneumonia with the flu. And on top of that, a viral pneumonia with the flu, not a bacterial pneumonia, a viral pneumonia with the flu. Game Max, in January, I was so sick. I slept sitting up just to breathe. I was coughing so much I could not breathe. Worst I ever felt in my life. There's a lot of people who have COVID and don't know it because they don't have any symptoms. There are a lot of people who have COVID and, like Addict said, and they might have went through. You could have had a mild case, and you went through on your own. And that's, if you can beat it, your body's a beast. AJ asked, do you know how you got COVID? Now, I am a stickler on cleaning. Even at work, my boss thought I was crazy when I was cleaning her office, her door handles, her chairs. And I'm the one at work that got it. Honestly, because I was real particular, make sure I don't touch my face. I stayed away from people. Honestly, how I think what happened is, I think fast food. And this is not a shot or to people to stop going to fast food places, but honestly, I think I may have went somewhere. Maybe when I went to Wendy's, got me a faux for faux. Maybe someone that coughed on my nuggets, or maybe they wasn't using gloves. And I got my food and I ate it. I'm not sure. I honestly not sure. It wasn't no one from work that gave it to me. I was really cautious of people being out in public. Now, when it comes to going to the grocery stores and getting toilet paper and stuff, I didn't allow my family to go because I didn't want them to get sick, so I went. But when I went, and I work in the medical field, so I know the proper way to use gloves and not cross-contaminate, get things taken out, cleaning hands, tossing them. I honestly think I might have got it from fast food. I'm going to be completely honest. That's my only real theory of how I got it. Kid Smooth said, don't underestimate the power of prayer. There's a lot of people that care about you. You have a purpose. I'm happy, man. Hey, happy made it through to tell my story. Thank you, man. Like I said, I'm not the biggest religious person in the world. I do believe that God is real. Sometimes I've said to myself, man, if all the stupid stuff we do as a human race, whether we're fighting over the color of our skin, whether we're fighting over our language, we do so much stupid stuff. Sometimes I wonder if he, like, you know what, let these fools, blow themselves up. But it is a higher power because he allowed me to live. And I don't know why. I don't know why I was selected out of the few people to survive. I'm sorry, not the few people. I don't want to be one of those fear mongers. Everyone's dying from this, but the people who survived, why I was chosen, I don't know. But I'm thankful. The 4 for 4 is a real good deal. Sam asked, "Do you think your case was severe because of your history with asthma?" I do think my asthma played a part in it. When they tell you people with underlying conditions need to be more careful, it is true. Case in point, I'm the only one in my house with asthma. Before I got sick, before I really was in isolation, I was all around my family. We was around each other. We ate the same thing. No one else got sick. I'm the only one that got sick. And I'm thankful for that. I told myself, if anyone in this house gets sick, it needs to be me. I don't want it to be my kids. I don't want it to be my wife. If anyone was to contract COVID, if anyone's house was to get sick, it needed to be me. And I was thankful for that. Have you seen the video of the guy who showed how easy it is to inflict yourself? No, I haven't. I have not at all. Asymptomatic children, yeah. Part of me believes that my children and wife do have it, or they did have it. I do believe it. I believe they did, but they never showed any symptoms. Never had a fever. Never had a cough. Never had shortness of breath. And with the way the tests are going right now, if you don't have a fever, if you don't have symptoms, they won't even test you. They won't waste a kit. Not a waste. They won't even utilize a kit because there's so very few tests right now, and so many people want to get tested. If you don't have symptoms, they will not test you. So even if my family will say, we're gonna get tested just in case, they're gonna walk in. What are your symptoms? We have none. They're gonna say leave. So if they did have it, they're strong and they ran their course or just sitting dormant. I'm praying that they don't all of a sudden get a fever or get a cough or get sick. But as of right now, my family is they're doing great. No problems at all. Humans touch their own face without being conscious of. This is true. This is true. Like I said, I possibly could have. So you can have it and not show symptoms. Yes. Yep. Yes, you can. If you think about it, think about all the celebrities who post, "I have coronavirus." Idris Elba, and all these people who will tell you that they didn't have any symptoms, but they got tested to get tested. Whenever you're rich, they don't care about there being a shortage of tests. They don't care about that. You're rich. I'm Idris Elba. Test me. He's going to get tested, and so he's one of my examples. He didn't have any symptoms. He tells you he has no symptoms. He got tested. He tested positive for coronavirus. But he's still going around kicking. I believe the same thing happened with my family. I believe they did. I think they did contract COVID-19, and they're fine. Well, I had a question. Did your doctors tell you to stay away from 5G? No. And anyone who's out defacing or blowing up 5G towers, this has nothing to do with 5G. Well, there are no 5G towers even where I live at, so that's not the case. Hey, game man, thank you, man. I am glad I'm here and I'm healthy now. I might have drinking out of a pea cup when I was in the hospital, but it didn't kill me either. So, hope I didn't. If I missed any questions, I really hope I didn't. If you think of something else, please, after the live stream, please drop it. I'm gonna answer every single question I can. I promise you, I will. As I scroll up here, DallazMan, what's up, man? Was there any part of your experience that COVID had changed the way you live life going forward? Man, that's a difficult question. As someone who suffers, I also suffer from depression. I take medication for it. Death is something that I think about a lot. But I've never felt like I was as close to it as I was with this. And maybe it was all in my head from hearing about so many people that was dying. Maybe it was a gentleman that died in the room next to me. I'm a lot more appreciative of my life now. Like every day is a is a blessing. When I got out, I asked my wife, because I'm in shock, because I didn't think I would ever get home. I didn't think I would ever get home. And I asked my wife, I was like, this is real? And I broke down because I didn't think I would come home. And I was like, did I just die in the hospital and this is my heaven? My heaven was to come home to you guys. Is it real? Like, I'm a lot more appreciative of my life now. And who's to say I might be reckless next week? And because as people, we soon forget how lucky we are to see another day. And I pray that I don't fall into that trap again. But I am human. But to Dallas's question, I'm every step I take, every breath I take, I am more appreciative than I was before I got sick, honestly. So it literally attacks people with health. I mean, it attacks everyone, but it attacks you more if you have health issues, honestly. Sam, I think the scary part, I still don't get, viruses usually don't have the kind of wide range and who shows symptoms and who gets affected. Yeah, I mean, it's huge, honestly. And I want you guys to be prepared for this. The more people that get tested, you guys are going to think that this pandemic has gotten worse. But honestly, there are so many people who are walking around who have it and not showing symptoms and are not sick that are doing perfectly fine. But the problem is they're going to give it to someone who will get sick from it, you know? And that's the thing. Like, I don't ever want to like super freak out because the numbers are going to continue to rise, but only because a lot of people are already sick. A lot of people are already sick and just aren't showing any symptoms. And we might have gotten along in the past, but who's going to help me kill these dumb comments on Twitter or something? We have added you, my boy, man. We've had disagreements for years. We've known each other for so long, and I love you, brother. Like, regardless if we disagree, unfollow each other, follow each other, we always come back to each other at the end of the day, because at the end of the day, we know we're both cool dudes, and I love you, dude. Like, I love you, man. I support you 100% everything you do in life, brother. How many symptoms did you have? Coughing. I had a fever of 103.2. Shortness of breath. And I was when I was to get up, I was dizzy, lightheaded, and I had a searing headache. My God, like the headache that there's nothing you can do to get rid of it. I had it. So those were the symptoms that I had. Sorry if you answered this already, but did you use an inhaler while you were having trouble breathing? I didn't have to go on oxygen, but part of the treatment besides the lung exercises is they gave me like a asthma inhaler, and they hooked up this purple tube to it. It's real long purple tube, and if I don't have it close to me, I can grab it, I can show you. But one of the things I had to do when I had the respiratory therapist come in, besides the exercise I was doing, they hooked up the inhaler to this purple tube, and they told me I had to. They push it in there, and you would see the purple tube fill up. And I was forced to take in deep breaths, because the thing is, if you just take regular breaths, that what you're taking in is just going here. It's not going anywhere, and you need it to actually fill up your lungs. You need your lungs to expand. And my lungs were not expanding because my breath, that's how I was breathing, because my breath was so shallow because I couldn't open up my lungs. Anytime I would take a deep breath, I began to cough. So one of the things they were doing, they was putting that tube, and I had to take slow, deep breaths, and it sucked, and I couldn't do it. But I had to keep trying because they needed to get things down into my lungs, and needed me to work out my lungs to make my lungs expand, because my lungs were super small, so I really wasn't able to breathe. Did the doctor say you would have any level of immunity to it now that you've beaten it? Now, I've heard multiple things on this. Well, one of the doctors at the hospital says I'll likely have a year to 2 immunity to COVID-19. And one of the things that I'm getting ready to do is I'm actually going to go at my job, and I'm going to give plasma. And the reason I'm giving plasma is because now that I've defeated COVID-19, my body has antibodies for the COVID-19. So what they're going to do is they're going to draw my plasma out with the apheresis machine. Draw my blood out as a whole. It's going to go into an apheresis machine where my components will spin, and they're going to return back my red cells and my platelets and give me some saline. They're going to keep my plasma. Plasma have antibodies to it. And people who are not doing very well, they may be in a medically induced coma and on a ventilator machine, they're going to transfuse my plasma into those people with the hopes that the antibodies that I produced defeating COVID-19 will help their bodies fight the disease. So that is definitely happening. That is a thing that you guys may not have heard. Convalescent plasma. I could be wrong about that, but that is a thing. So I would be giving my plasma to people who are in the hospital because my body has the plasma has the antibodies for COVID-19. What would you say to people who are not taking it serious? It takes a cough to lose your life. It takes someone being irresponsible to cough in your area, to cough on something, put it in your face, and at 2 seconds you'll lose your life. It sucks that people don't take things serious until it's in their wheelhouse, until it's close to home. But a single cough, a single moment in time can cost you your life. And if you have nothing to live for and you want to be reckless, go right on ahead. But I have a wife that I want to grow old with, and I have children that I want to see prosper, and I want to see grandchildren. So I have something to live for. So if you don't take it serious, I'm not telling people how to live their life, but it takes a moment, a single cough to lose yours. That's the exact same thing I had in January, been home after work, didn't go anywhere. If I did have it, I'm not trying to feel that way. Yeah, it's not fun. Witness says, happy to see you doing well. Thank you. I appreciate it. Jen said my uncle in New Jersey has the virus, and they brought the fever down, and he's doing much better. Hey, that's a blessing. That is a blessing. I'm happy for him. Did anything you take help you? Like I was saying earlier in the live stream, I was given like 12 to 13 different pills throughout the time. I was given steroids to help with my lungs. I was given the anti-malaria medication, hydroxychloroquine. I think I'm saying that right. That was part of the second half of my treatment. I only took it for 4 days. Coincidentally, that was around the time I had my final fever spike, and I began to feel better since. I am not saying that that's what cured me. I'm not saying that was the reason I am here today, but I did take the anti-malaria drug. It was part of what they were doing for me, and I didn't die. So take that and do whatever you want to do with it. But yeah, any question, anything you guys want to know, please feel free. I'll leave the live stream up here for a few more moments. If you didn't watch it live and you got a question to put inside the comment section, please do so. Please, if you guys can, share this video out for anyone who wants to hear a story, not from any type of news source. I'm just a guy who plays video games. That's writes about video games, talks about video games. Just a regular guy, not a celebrity, not on CNN trying to tell a story. I'm just a guy. So I know for a lot of people that feels better to hear from. I know for me, I'd rather hear from someone, just a regular guy, just a regular person, not someone that's gone viral or a celebrity. Sometimes it's good to hear from one of the guys, someone you can sit and have a drink with and hear. So I'm willing to answer any questions. Did you have to have 2 consecutive negative tests before they cleared you? No. That is something a lot of places are not doing. Most, I want to say all, because of the shortages of tests. That is the thing. Like, you get that one test that says you're cleared. Yes, you could have a false positive, but most places are not going to just keep testing you. And if you try to go somewhere else, let's say you go to one of those drive-through places, having to get tested, and you don't have any symptoms or fever, they're not going to test you. So no, I didn't. I wasn't able to get the 2 negative tests. Just FYI, coronavirus is pretty much still out there, which means it is consistently mutating, which means the antibodies you have may lead to full immunity. So still be careful. Oh, definitely. I'm not about to wild out. Yes, it could mutate into something different that I don't have the antibodies for. Definitely. That's a good point. Chocolaka 88 may not lead to full immunity. Yeah, so definitely. I'm still being careful. I'm not being... I'm not wilding. I'm not licking carts or anything like that, but I'm definitely being more careful. So, Merc, thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you for everybody who came out to the stream. I really appreciate you guys. Stay safe. Stay clean. Care about each other. Do what you got to do. Things will be back to normal soon, and we all be able to kick it and hang out and have fun again. In the meantime, be okay with being bored. Gamers, we were built for this, baby. We were built for this, for quarantine, for being inside. Our backlogs are bleeding, and we got and new games are still coming out. So, gamers, we were ready for this. This is meant for us, you know. So this is our apocalypse. So, thank you guys so much for all the support, all the love. If you guys have any questions after the fact, please drop a comment. If you guys can, please like this, share it out. If anyone else may want to have any questions, I will answer just about, not just about, unless it's a troll question. I'm answering every single question that comes in the comment section down below. You guys stay blessed, stay safe, stay clean. I love you guys. Thank you for all the support. By the grace of God and by the grace and love of my family and the support from you guys, I did defeat COVID-19, and every day I will be more appreciative of the extra time I was given. Thank you guys, and you guys have a great one. I'm out.